This is where they did the bank improvements for the...
It looks much better.
It doesn't look so much like a sewer anymore. They've done that, and also just on the other side, I'll show you, they've done another bit of bank improvements. I remember when I said to you the other day, about a month ago, that I didn't want to do this bit because of that hill.
Yeah.
Because I was still on crutches that time.
Oh, it was tricky.
It was. I was looking for flat surfaces where I didn't have too many ups and downs. See this new fencing here? This was part of their beautification.
Oh, that's nice.
And all this, you see, this was all just overgrown.
Way better.
They cleaned it up. They can't do much about that scum layer on the surface because
that's part of what
that's
does
what
the
it's.
drains.
Yeah, and that's why it's there.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey.
You going up the mountain?
Doing some hills.
Okay. Good luck. Enjoy it.
You know Lindsay, she loves the hills.
She loves those hills. Yeah. I'll tell her I saw you.
Huh?
I'll tell her I saw you.
How's what? I can't remember what you did.
Achilles.
That's right, how's the Achilles?
Not bad.
It's
Not
healing.
bad. This is my wife, Norma.
Hey.
And you're Nancy,
I'm
right?
Nancy, yeah, right. Are you running?
Yes, I am. Every other day.
Excellent.
All right.
too.
Get back to it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
She's part of Lindsay's Tri-Stars group. Triathlon training. I bumped into her when you were setting up the pickleball with your machine, and I went for that little extra walk while you were setting up. On the way back from the park, coming out of that laneway thing, I saw her. She lives right there, and she was asking me about my injury. She used to be an RN, a doctor. Her husband is a doctor. I said, is he an orthopedic surgeon? And she said, no, but he knows all about Achilles injuries.
Yeah.
You see, once we start the hill, that's when you're going to have to decide if it's getting too hot for your jacket. But there's definitely...
Try it anyway.
Yeah, well, that's why I brought the bag, in case you want to stash it. And they've cleared up the old tree graveyard as well. Remember how there were just piles of fallen trees? They got rid of most of it. I guess it was a fire hazard. Got rid of all the scrap.
I'm glad they would have left it.
What?
I'm glad they would have left it.
Yeah, because probably it's wet enough for it not to be a fire risk part of the year. But here, you can see...
Here there's houses today.
Yep. I remember once on Gowl and Todd, I was running with Dan, and we saw these fire people there. They were clearing out all the undergrowth.
Yeah.
And I said, what are you doing? And she said, we're just trying to reduce the amount of fuel. They were thinking of it as potential fuel for fires.
Yeah, yes it was.
Yeah, they weren't cutting anything particular. They were just clearing out all the scrub. And they've done quite a lot of beautification in this parking lot as well. They got sort of informative plaques and stuff. No drinking fountain though, it's still an issue.
One street and the next street, and we're even in the same block.
So this is another monolith they put up. Another monolith to Mayor Leonard. He went out with a blaze of boulders. He spent quite a bit of money on this part of the park, beautifying it. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, and the nice thing that they did do was they made that gate stay locked until noon every day now. So the only people we'll see from there onwards are walkers or bikers, yeah. There are a few people that cycle up, and then they have to hope that their brakes are good on the way down. But you can see how popular it is. All these people have come here,
Walk the dogs.
probably, yeah. Or to hike the lower trails, where Nancy's doing her little hill repeats. There is a washroom there now, that's new.
Yeah.
But no drinking, no water fountains.
Yeah. Like no water.
No water. There is water on the mountain, but that's only for the hydrant.
You can't get
No. And this is new. They put the actual stone up and then they faced it and put the writing out there. Alright, so it's 9:02 now.
Okay. Yes. Like really bizarre things that otherwise he would just like he forgot about them.
Hello.
Right. So it's nice that it kind of provides. Yeah.
But this feels so good on my Achilles because it's gradually extending the range in my ankle
Yeah.
because I'm leaning into the hill. Coming down is almost more painful than going up.
Different.
It's a different set of connections. And this sign is new, a 25k maximum speed. Do you want to put your jacket in my bag?
Oh, really?
There's nothing in the bag.
Oh, I watch this much.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hi.
You want it? I don't mind.
All right. Yield to pedestrians. Hikers, bikers, runners, and people with dogs. I think the 25 speed limit only applies to bikes at this time in the day. You can imagine somebody coming down here
Whistling down.
really, really fast. It could be serious. And the tires are so hard. They, if they hit you, it's almost like being hit by a, side of an oar.
Oh, I got hit on the flat. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, he was saying that was at UVic.
Yeah.
I noticed my tires were a little deflated.
Cooling off.
I think that's what it was, because later on in the morning they seemed harder. I think they're because they have quite large inner tubes. There's a large volume of air that changes in pressure according to the temperatura. Bike back. It's going up again, you see.
Grunt.
Grunt, yeah. Only 5 more.
Time 25 minutes. Distance 1.97 kilometers. Average pace 12 minutes 39 seconds per kilometer. Or behind your target pace by 13 seconds per kilometer.
Mine says 1.87 kilometers.
Well, mine was 1.97, so that's about 100 meters. Less than half the length of our road. Yeah. Next, there'll be an announcement for 2 kilometers.
I'm still trying to get that dog.
Was that the guy with his foot on the gate back there?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just backtrack and look for the dog?
But the dog is supposed to obey.
Yeah. It's not going to happen. Oh, look at that little kid running up the hill. Lucky the grandpa's got the stroller, just in case. I was amazed how many people, it's just 9 o'clock now, and I've seen about 15 people on this road. It's the daily ritual for a lot of them.
Which is good.
Yeah. And it's predictable, it's not going to change. Hello. You can do it any weather, you don't have to worry about mud. Hello. It becomes a bit of a chin scraper later on.
What does that mean?
Well, it's so steep that you're leaning into the hill so much that your chin is almost scraping the ground. A chin scraper.
Oh, ribbit.
Eh?
Ribbit.
A frog?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there must be enough water there for them to live their entire life cycle. Because I don't think they migrate. They might hop a little bit from one pond to another, but...
Oh, they migrate for sure. They had to shut off part of a road in Westbury.
Oh, because the frogs kept crossing the road and getting squashed?
1,800 frogs were hopping. They were toads, actually.
Toads. The whole thing about lemmings, apparently that's not really true. That was based on one bit of nature footage that they rigged. They basically scared the lemming off the cliff and they jumped. I think it was National Geographic. Back in the old days when there was fake news, yeah. Up. Hello.
Hi. I know, it's a crack. Huh? It's a crack. There's a hole now. Yeah.
They got the recovery vehicles handy. Yeah. Gotta hand it to them. It's quite a hike for them. But this is where, running is probably about as much effort as walking here.
Yeah.
You're not going to go any faster. You're just going to be expending a little more energy.
Because your knees are going up now.
You're jumping instead of just
Swinging.
stepping from step to step. Hello.
Yeah, my friend who's
Okay. Hello.
Time 30 minutes. Distance 2.36 kilometers. Average pace 12 minutes 42 seconds per kilometer. You're behind your target pace by 13 seconds per kilometer.
So that's 2K. Pretty soon we get up to one of those elevation.
Mine is 2.26.
Oh, maybe that was the time then. Yeah, that was 30 minutes since we started. They have these elevation markers on the road with the distance from the start and the height. hello.
Well, it makes you feel kind of like a weight.
If you did this every day, it would definitely build up your leg strength.
Yeah, I should do it more often.
Oh, any of my non-running days.
That's every other day now, right?
Yep. And in Spain, we could find some...
The park is huge. There's two. And then there's a large one by the racket club.
Sounds like a pretty swish place.
What?
The racket club.
Yeah. But that's...
Gin and tonic on the terrace kind of place.
But Jan and I are not too happy about getting stuck there all day.
No. I'm hoping to make the definitive
But there is a metro.
pickleball video. A bit of tournament play. Maybe a bit of color commentary. Are they going to have a PA with a commentator?
Only for the medal games, probably.
And would that be in English or in Spanish?
Both.
Okay. The other thing that I've noticed is that Spaniards now speak incredibly good English. There's very few places where you can go in Spain where they won't have somebody who can speak to you.
No, that's just for the tourists.
Yeah.
They have to have that. That way they get the sale.
The older generation, not so much, but anybody in CJET, they're all speaking English. They're all taking EasyJet to London. Well, they still can come in freely. That's going to be another issue, how much it's going to affect tourism from Europe. People are going to say, yeah, well, let's go to somewhere else.
Bother.
Well, instead of going to London, we did that last year. Now we'll go to, I don't know, Belgium. The arbutus leaning over the road. And there's the hydrants.
I wonder why they have two.
I guess one is to, well, I guess it could be just one. That's right, one for that side of the park, one for this side of the park. But they've all got multiple output nozzles. Nobody's passed us yet, except that one cyclist. Better take your hat off to him. He'll be coming down with a big smile on his face. The steepest part is just around that corner.
Yeah.
The little corkscrew. This is when it's good that there's no cars around. Do you have an altitude thing on your watch?
I might do.
I'm sure there's an app for that.
I have a heart rate and I'm at 140.
You do? Where's it monitoring your heart rate from?
There's little sensors under the back of the watch.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good because I remember on the exercise bike at the gym, I was quite happy when I managed to get to triple digits because cycling seemed so easy.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, just hiking up here, your heart rate...
35.
See, look, it says 1,000 meters from the gate and 140 meters above.
Seconds per kilometer. You're behind your target pace by 18 seconds per kilometer.
That's not bad, that's 7 per each kilometer. When we first got to Victoria, I remember running up here once, and my heart rate got up to 188.
Whoa.
I could feel it in my head.
Thunk, thunk.
I could hear it in my ears, yeah. That's when I realized...
What you can hear was probably bumping.
Yeah, what I realized was that make the most of it while I'm still young enough to be able to handle this kind of abuse. Because a lot of the older runners, they end up having heart issues because they try and match their old times, and they try and match their old...
Yeah, no,
And it's suddenly they get a wake-up call when they have warnings from their doctor.
they collapse at the end of the race.
Yep. I'm sweating now. Yay! Well done! One more!
Yeah.
That'll be 2 that we've seen him do. But coming down might be a little bit quicker, but not much. I'm not going to run down. That's definitely going to hurt a fair bit. This Indian tobacco ready for smoking.
Toxic, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Well, you're just putting carbon in your lungs.
Yeah. Another hydrant. And a rest bench. You want to rest? Okay. Any second now, we're going to see the light at the end of the climb. One more turn, I think. Can you remember roughly what time we left? I know we were at 2 minutes past 9 at the gate. Ah, there you go.
4 seconds distance, 3 kilometers, average pace 12 minutes, 55 seconds per kilometer. You're behind your target pace by 24 seconds per kilometer.
I should have come up to Mt.Doug and watched the eclipse from up here. I'm sure it would have been much less crowded.
Oh, yeah.
But still, that was one of my non-running days, so I walked to Tolme, and then I walked to Fairways,
Got your groceries?
and I got the bus, yeah. I always like some sort of accountability. I decide what I'm going to do, and then live up to my declaration.
There we go.
0.8 kilometers, average pace 12 minutes, 56 seconds per kilometer. You're behind your target pace by 28 seconds per kilometer.
So 3 kilometers, and we're almost at the top. So I think it was 6.6 when I did it last time.
From home to top?
Yep, and back. That's using the road. It could be less if we went down Glendenning, but there's a lot of hopping from rock to rock there. I'm not in a hopping mood at the moment. I used up all those free passes I had for the rec center.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I went through the little reader, and the woman said, "Carlos," and I said, "Yes." "That's your last visit." And she wasn't quite rubbing her hands together, but you could see that she was thinking of drumming up some more business.
Yeah, well, those passes were not at the current rate.
Yeah. She said, well, they weren't actually passes, they were seniors 10-time visits.
Even
But
so.
I got those extra visits because one of the girls said, "Oh, I can transfer your credit." And that was when I only had to pay like 26 cents.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So I certainly got my bang for my buck on that pass. You
3K,
3K.
15 minutes.
What's the 15 minutes?
How long we've been walking?
No, we've been walking for 35 minutes. You sure it says 15?
Well, it said something about 15 minutes.
Maybe that's minutes per kilometer. But my one said 12 and a bit, almost 13 minutes, which is pretty good for a climb. I think, you know, an Apple Watch would be totally wasted on me because I couldn't read the display.
Yeah, it's good that it talks to you.
Yeah, I'd have to have a magnifying glass to look at my watch.
Well, you can fit one to the face of the watch.
Yep, the low-lying clouds on the Straits of Juan de Fuca. I was looking back at my YouTube videos, and the one that got the most hits, I don't know if I told you the story, was the Juan de Fuca Trail, Marine Trail. And I thought, why does everybody want to watch this one?
Because a lot of people want to do that trail.
Partly. And somebody has suggested that it's because the first three letters of Fuca, you know, you've probably got a lot of adolescent kids putting in the word and getting my video and saying, this isn't what I was looking for.
It would have been a lot more than what you got.
Well, I think I got 3,600 hits on that one video.
Oh,
And the rest of the next best one was 700.
yeah. So 5 times, 4 times.
Yeah. Now I'm going to take a picture of the view.
And that's the hospital? Is it?
Yeah, that's the Jubilee. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take
And it,
3 pictures or 4 pictures in rapid succession.
and it might put them together for you.
Well, Google Photos might knit them together for me. I think what they do is they just check how close they were together, and then they check for similar skyline. If they see a horizon, they work from that.
But it's clearly,
It's clearly a generated thing. It's an algorithm.
yeah, they said they can do back of the bus. Thinking that too. Fine.
Time 45 minutes. Distance 3.35 kilometers. Average pace 13 minutes 27 seconds per kilometer. You're
Hello.
behind your target pace by 57 seconds per kilometer.
Okay. So we've just finally gone into the 13-minute zone with the photo ops and the slowing down. But that's good. It's still worth doing. Not trying to get faster, just trying to get stronger. Oh, look at that. See how the clouds are hanging on San Juan Island?
talking about the island. It's so beautiful.
Hello.
漂亮吗？要不我一直喊你让你上来。
I can see that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I know. Like he's not, he's not the most thorough guy, but like, well, I think.
You can actually see Mount Baker above the cloud.
Yeah.
I think that one.
There've been a few, but like, to the point where Chris, he's been there before. Really? Like he'll say something. He came up here, didn't he? Yeah. He's not afraid to say. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Even on
So I kind of feel bad.
on the island over there by the Shoal Island or whatever it's called, Trial Island.
Like one day he came
In Oak Bay, there's the low cloud.
before he told me, he's like, "Oh, keep passing that spider." I'm like, "Oh, did he give me the all your work for you?" Eh? Yeah. Like joking. He knows how to get away. Right? Yeah. Like there was that one day we worked and it wasn't busy and he didn't see a patient. Yeah. Like, he literally wanted 12 hours.
And there's the little Sanish Mountain.
I can't believe it. It's like how
And you can actually just see a little bit of Elk Lake through the trees there. There's a bit of
he's a good guy.
surface there, water.
But he kind of smiled, and then it was like half smile. I'm like, oh.